Towards the far post, Riston, and it's in!
Payne, Barisha, Diamante!
Durante with a free header! And the honour of Western United's first A-League goal goes to a familiar face. Bessart, Barisha. It's Connor Payne on the left. Alessandro Diamante with the ball on a string. And
Diamante!
The Western service crew are celebrating.
And welcome back to All Out West for another special off-the-pitch interview. And this week we have Dylan Wenzel-Halls with 52 A-League appearances, which is now 53 because he played last night. 16 goals. The 24-year-old comes our way via Brisbane Roar. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, no, good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're pretty thrilled to have you on. So we like to start off with one that's not on the sheet. That's a little bit of a hard one. And I think I know the answer to this already. And where are you at on this one today? Palmy or Palmer?
Palmy, for sure. When I come to Melbourne, I went to dinner with my cousins. I said, "I'll get a Palmy, please." And they looked at me like I was looked at me a bit confused and said, "Mate, it's Palmer down here." So I still say Palmy.
It's okay. We still love you, man. Do you get confused when asking for measurements of beer? It's like schooner, pint. It makes pubs in Australia the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, it's confusing, isn't it?
So just quickly, if you can, give us a quick background on your footballing story, where it all started and how you got here.
Yeah, so I started off with Ipswich Knights, where I grew up, played maybe a year or two there. Then I went to a club called Lions, which is a pretty big club in Queensland, still is. And then from there, went to a Greek club, Brisbane Olympic, played there for two seasons, and then went to the Brisbane Royal Youth team. Mm-hmm. I was there for maybe 12 months to 18 months and got released. Got told obviously there's players ahead of me, and that's it's probably best that I drop back down to the NPL. So being released from there was difficult, and I thought maybe that was my chance gone at a pro level, because you see a lot of players that progress through the academies and they don't often come through the NPL. Nowadays it's a bit different. You see NPL players come through the system, but back then it wasn't as common. So I went to back in Ipswich, Western Pride, the local NPL team where I was from, and had a really good setup there, and knew a lot of the boys anyway from obviously growing up playing football in that area. So went there, did really well, and then fortunately got my chance back in the A-League through the Brisbane Roar, and spent a couple of seasons there, and now joined the Green and Black, and I'm loving it.
Awesome. And what was it initially that drew you to come into a club like Western United?
I think the biggest thing is obviously, like I've said before, they've always shown constant interest in me, and I think the biggest thing for me was how ambitious the club was. It was a new club, not much of a background, and I thought what better club to be a part of and try and create success with and be a part of that success. And it's been good so far. I'm really enjoying it. Melbourne's an awesome place to live, and we've got a really solid team, and obviously with Aloisi and Foxy, they've set us up really well, and we're in a good spot at the moment.
Awesome. You said Aloisi and Foxy. Who do you reckon you were most excited to start working with around the club?
I think just the club in general. Obviously, when I signed, it was just exciting to have a new change. Come to a club where I was, fresh start and really just crack on with all the boys, I think. But yeah, obviously John signed as head coach, and I'd worked with him before at Brisbane, so it was nice to see a familiar face. And then a couple of weeks later, Jamie Young signed, so it was always nice to have a couple of familiar faces that I'd known sort of well, and obviously the boys that I didn't know well, have really accepted me and welcomed me into the team, and it's been a really good transition.
Awesome.
Who would you say is the most fun person in the squad?
It's hard to say. There's a couple of big characters, but I think Lockie Wales, he loves the sound of his own voice. He doesn't shut up. So it's he's always good value in the change room, making everyone laugh. He's a bit of a jokester. But Scotty's good value too. But I think there's the dark horse would be Topple Stanley. He's loved by everyone. He's the funniest guy. He's nothing to what I expected he'd be like. I thought he'd be 37, bit older head, mature, and a bit boring, to be fair. But no, he's good value. He acts like he's 22.
Well, he certainly played like it last night. being a pacey young striker, the fans were quite excited with your signing, especially in contrast to the strikes we had in the past. What has your experience with the Western fans been like thus far?
No, it's been good. Obviously, when I came, I got a lot of nice messages from them, and even after the game, speaking to them, I think they're a really welcoming bunch of fans, but also they're passionate, they're supportive, and they're at every game, and it's awesome for us players to play in front of I know it's obviously not too many, as in we're still building a fan base and an identity, but the fans that we do have are fantastic, and I've loved every minute of playing for them, scoring goals for them, but also getting to know them on and off the pitch. It's been good.
Speaking of scoring goals for us, what about that really nice purple patch of goals you got this season? What was your mentality like going through that?
No, it was good. Obviously, there's no doubt in my mind that I can score goals. I've done that no matter where I've sort of played. I've picked up goals, but I think to get your first goal for your new club where you've just signed, it's a big thing to get that monkey off the back for a player's point of view for the fans. You got your players around you that think to score and get that monkey off the back is just massive, I think. And yeah, look, it was nice to pop up with 2 important goals. I think early on, especially at times when we needed those goals. And with some game time, I know I can score those goals again.
Sick. What do you feel you bring to the team?
I think, I think I can score goals, I can bring goals, but I think someone that's just energetic, lively, a willing runner who'll make forward runs, running behind, and someone that would just create half a yard and get shots away. I'm a striker. I love shooting, so whenever I get that half a yard, I'll always be trying to get a strike away. But very different to sort of Alex as well. Alex is big. Alex holds up a ball and he's very good at it. And he's a poacher. So I think me and him are obviously very different strikers, and I sort of offer the runs in behind and the pace that he doesn't. But obviously he offers the coming to feet and target man that I don't. So I think it's a good balance of attacking options up there at the moment.
Yeah. What have you been working on for most of the season, like game-wise? Obviously, there's a new club, new players, old coach, but you got players there, like you mentioned, Pregame, who definitely has a lot of experience. What do you reckon you've improved on the most since joining the club, or even learnt since joining the club?
I think the biggest thing that I've been working on is my runs as a centre forward. I think at Brisbane, I played out wide as a winger. I played as a sort of inverted winger, as like a number 10 and a striker. And I sort of had, free reign to roam and sort of, pick up the ball in areas wherever I sort of wanted. So to come to a club where we're very structured, very organised, and I think we have a really clear identity of each and every, individual's role. So, for me, knowing my role as the striker and knowing the runs that I need to make as a centre forward, obviously to score, but also to create space for other players, I think that was the biggest thing. Whereas, like I said, at times I picked the ball up in wherever I sort of felt I could get on the ball, whether that was deep or high. Whereas here I've got a clear structure of, the forward runs I need to make, and making runs where I can sort of, similar to the goal I scored against Melbourne City, making runs where I can finish first time and get shots away early.
Awesome. Bit more of a personal question, but what do you do outside the pitch? Are you a non-stop football person? Does that not leave your mind, or do you have any hobbies that you just can't get away from?
No, it's hard to get football out of my mind. I think when I'm at home, I'm always thinking about football, always thinking about how I can improve and whatnot. But I do study accounting on the side, so that's nice to get away from football. Although it's difficult, I always see myself watching football, playing football, talking football. So yeah, it's very difficult to get away from that. But in my downtime, accounting. I've got a beautiful partner down here, got my dog, so we're always just walking the dog or just exploring Melbourne as well. I mean, it's such a different city to what we came from in Brisbane, so it's a nice change, and we like to get out there and get to know Melbourne.
What kind of dog is it?
I've got a Dachshund, a little sausage dog.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it's cute, but some of the boys give me a bit of stick. They've got big dogs, big Labradors, and big I don't know, Cravoodles and stuff like that. So they give me a bit of stick.
They're just compensating, I reckon, Dylan.
Yeah, 100%.
I think what's a bit like being an athlete during the COVID era and like moving to another city, being Melbourne?
Yeah, it was difficult. Obviously, during COVID when we went into the hub, we had a 2-month break, from football. So it was real difficult to sort of keep fit whilst not knowing what the future even looked like. You're sort of keeping fit, but you're like, what am I keeping fit for? Because you didn't know when we were starting, how long it was going to be, where we were going to, finish the season. But even, last year and even this year to an extent, the constant breaks you have because of COVID cases or lockdowns and stuff like that have always been difficult, I suppose. But, it's something that you just have to, stay strong through and much like the rest of the everyone else in the world, just get on with it, I suppose. And if you miss 7 days because you have it or you're a close contact, I suppose, do all you can to sort of keep fit at home whilst, not breaking the protocol. And then, but yeah, it's been difficult and challenging, like every other job in the world. But moving to Melbourne was tough. Obviously, trying to find a place to live without inspecting it from a different state, was obviously really difficult as well. And then coming to a state and being in lockdown straight away, whilst my family and friends in Queensland were sort of free, everyone I spoke to said, "Why would you come to Melbourne for? It's the worst place for COVID. You're mad." But it's been really good though. So we've enjoyed Melbourne, and it's good that we're free from COVID now and we can just crack on. Not free from it, but it's better.
Yeah. What has been your career highlight thus far?
I think career highlight, obviously, being dropped from the Brisbane Royal Youth team to go into the NPL. It's like I said, it's a difficult time, and not knowing what if you're going to get your chance at the professional level, knowing there's only 10 teams at the time and not many players from the NPL get back into the A-League. So I think just having that sort of setback and making a choice to either, I had a decision to make, throw it in and, just be content playing NPL or work my socks off and make them, teams in the A-League not have a choice but to give me a crack. And I think for me, that was a massive highlight in my career because, it's not the easiest way and not the easiest sort of progression to the A-League that, other players have. They grow up in the youth team and sort of just progress through the youth team, but have those difficulties and come back from that. I think something that I'm, very proud of myself for.
Nice. We've lost Jay and he did have the next question, but we'll keep going. How have you seen your career progression? And I'll follow that up with what are your long-term goals for your football career?
Long-term goals, obviously, I think like every young Australian, you'd like to play, abroad or play in Europe and play in Asia and just test yourself at the highest level that you possibly can. But I think the biggest thing is for me is just to play week in, week out, play as many minutes as I can and just contribute, score goals, assist goals and be influential on the football pitch, I suppose. And I think if I do that, then I'll give myself every chance. But I'm just, really focused on, playing minutes for Western United, scoring goals and just being influential and contributing to, overall, success for the team.
Okay, it's still only me and you, so I'll keep going. Now, here's a bit of a fun one. Do you like FIFA or PES?
Nah, FIFA for sure. PES is, in my opinion, PES is rubbish. Always FIFA.
No, I completely understand. Now, what did you think of your 64 overall in FIFA 22?
I thought that was, I'm pretty happy with that, I think. I went up a couple of rankings. I think I got silver as well. Was I silver? Am I silver?
I didn't see Ultimate Team. I just play the career mode.
I think on the Ultimate Team I got a silver card, so I think that's very generous. So I was buzzing with that.
That's sick as. I'm not into the Ultimate Team. It just seems like a money laundering deal, but I like it's like gambling to me. But now here's one that I wrote that Jay was going to say, and this is a bit of a question from the year of your birth, as to kind of mess you up a little bit. Can you name one of the highest goal scorers in the Premier League in the year of your birth, 1997?
97.
I like to make it difficult.
Who was playing back then? Thierry Henry, was he playing then?
No,
maybe not.
I was
like 8. I have no idea.
Jay's a bit of a Premier League buff, so he would have really got into that.
Yeah.
I would have accepted Joe in Dublin, Michael Owen or Chris Sutton. All three had 18 goals. Although the last two, Owen and Sutton, did have only 2 of those from pens. So I'd probably consider them a bit more.
Michael Owen, I liked him. He's a good player.
Yeah.
I like watching him play.
Now, Here's a bit of a different question. I'm putting a bit of an say. What would you like to see from us fans over the next for the rest of the season?
I think just keep turning out numbers like you guys have been doing. You know, the more support, the merrier. And, you know, we as players really appreciate, obviously, you guys coming down and, you know, giving up your Saturdays or Sundays and coming down and supporting us. I think, you know, it means the world for us. And, you know, the bigger the crowd, obviously, the better for us and the better atmosphere for the fans in general. So I think just more of the same and get behind us because we do really appreciate it. And it's always good playing in front of you guys and playing for you guys.
Oh, nice. Now, a lot of athletes and high-level performers, whether it be musicians, athlete, whatever, have pre-game rituals. And I know Lockie Wales, like Sage, to Sage his boots, has gone, Jay. Do you have any pre-game rituals?
I do. I think my biggest ritual would have to be I listen to the same 2 songs before I play. And I always... During the day, I always watch, you know, YouTube. I watch a little bit of, you know, Suarez, Aguero, Rooney, those sorts of players, and just sort of just get my eye in for football, I suppose, and just watch those guys play. It's always good to see them score goals. And then before I play, sometimes I always do it. You know, some of the boys might give me stick for it. They don't know, but I usually just watch some of my own goals. Just, you know, it reminds me of what I can do and the sort of areas that I can find myself in. So, I mean, I did that in the NPL, and some of the boys looked at me like, you know, I don't know, looked at me funny, gave me a bit of stick for it. But I like to look at my goals and just watch a couple of them and just remind myself what I can do and how I can be influential and how I can score goals. And then I listen to my 2 songs. So I listen to I Believe I Can Fly. I don't know why I listen to that, but it just seems to motivate me. And then I listen to, right before I go out, I listen to the Logical song by Scooter. It's a bit of a techno, you know, song. Yeah, so I listened to that. I think I listened to that when I had success in the NPL, and we listened to that before we walked out every game, and we had a good season, and I had a good season, so I've sort of just stuck to that. I think it's my lucky song.
I respect that.
On that song, on that subject, we've had the debate going on at the club for a while about a walkout song. We've landed temporarily on Sweet Caroline, but we're not sure where to go from there. What would you personally recommend for a walkout song? What do you reckon would not just you, but all the boys up the most?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I think I've always liked the old walkout song. Is it Fat Boy Slim? It's like, I'll try and, I don't know.
Right here, right now.
You'll know the song I'm talking about. You'll know the song I'm talking about. You'll know the song. Right Here, Right Now?
Right here, right now, yeah. That one is
I think that would be a good walkout song. And I also, for me, I like anything old school. So I think, I don't know, Drops of Jupiter or something like that. I reckon would be pretty cool.
Awesome.
I definitely think Fat Boy Slim, Right Here, Right Now. You know, it's got a vibe about it. I think that would be a good walkout song.
100% agree there. Do you want to take the next couple, Jay?
Yeah, sorry, you'll just have to quickly catch me up.
Rob got the last one.
Pardon?
Rob to the last one.
Oh, okay, beautiful. Now, we can't wait to see you in action against your old club on Saturday. Do you have anything to pass on to the fans, not just our fans, but their fans as well?
No, not at all. I think, obviously, it's always nice playing against your old club and playing against familiar faces and, you know, obviously having a chat to them after the game and catching up with, you know, old friends. But, you know, whilst you're on the pitch, I think for me, the most important thing is for us to get the 3 points. Obviously, come on, try my best to influence the game. Like I said earlier, contribute to goals, assists. And I think the main thing is for us is just to get the 3 points and, you know, keep our season, you know, firing.
Awesome. And just on the subject of your old club, if there was one player you could bring over from Brisbane to Western United, who would it be?
One player to bring over. To be fair, I don't know, probably Jamie Young, and he's coming. He's followed suit. I think he's been fantastic this year and made some phenomenal saves, as you saw last night. So probably him in a performance point of view.
Yeah, we love Jamie. Well, we love Jamie Young. Obviously, we're a pro Ryan Scott podcast as well. We love Scotty here, but
Scotty's unbelievable. He's such a good goalkeeper. He's such a good guy, and you know, he's gonna obviously he already is a very good goalkeeper, but he's gonna continue to be a very good goalkeeper. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, awesome. I think that pretty much does us, Wallace. Unless you have anything else you wanted to add on.
No, that's everything. We've run through the whole question list. Thank you for coming on today. We really appreciate it. And yeah, good luck on Saturday. Can't wait to see the boys in action again. And yeah, thanks again, mate.
Thank you so much for having me. Obviously, I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys obviously believing in us and supporting us week in, week out. Obviously, it means a lot to us, and we thank you for that. And we hope to bring you success in the future.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. We'll see you at Tassie. No, probably
All
Ballarat.
right.
In
Ballarat.
Ballarat the week after. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. See you there.
Have a good one, mate.
Legends. Thank you. You too. Bye.